why you should not be thrilled that the Kyler Murray era in Arizona is over. A brief preview against the Seattle Seahawks. Can Jacoby Brissett honestly do the impossible? And then the Phoenix Suns played a game last night, and Jalen Green looked really good. Is that what you're supposed to expect from him? We'll talk about that much more in this edition of the Ben Garcia Show.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like calluses. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up? Welcome in to yet another edition, a Friday edition of the Ben Garcia Show. There's a lot of things to get into. The brief announcement that I will make very quickly is my lifestyle is changing. Things are moving around. The Ben Garcia Show is going to move to 8 a.m. starting next week. So no more 7 a.m., 7:15 a.m. show times. The show will start rolling at 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And there's a lot of things to get into. So however you may be listening, wherever you may be listening, thank you so much for making the show a part of your day. Let's start here. I wanted to talk about this on Wednesday, but we didn't get to it. Life gets in the way, things get busy, and I didn't have a chance to talk about the phantom IR stint that I was, completely right about. I came on here after the win on Tuesday, and I told you guys, I am predicting a phantom IR stint coming from the Arizona Cardinals for Kyler Murray's camp. Meaning, the reasoning why they put him on IR is because he's benched. And they know he's benched. But Kyler Murray's camp went to them and said, hey, listen, we get it. You're going with Jacoby. You're going with what you believe is the best quarterback for this situation. Can you do us a favor and put us on IR so we can find a viable trade partner in the offseason and we can say to teams, we were never benched. Our midfoot sprain was just worse than you think. And that's exactly what happened. I projected that on Tuesday. That came out on Thursday. That came out on Wednesday. There was no shot for 1 second. Did you think that Kyler Murray wasn't going to go on IR? He's done. You have watched the final snaps of Kyler Murray in the NFL. You just have. It's over for Kyler Murray as a member of the Arizona Cardinals. Is it the right move? We'll find that out later, years from now. But here's what's interesting. I know there are people that watch this show. I know there are people on social media alike who I know are happy with the departure of Kyler Murray. And here's what I'll say to that. You shouldn't be. You should not be thrilled that the Kyler Murray era in Arizona is over. And I've seen a lot of fans, both on social media and in this show, tell me that they are thrilled that that era of their life is over. But let me tell you why you shouldn't be. I was watching, it just came up on TikTok one day, or Instagram, when I'm just doom scrolling, because that's what you do. And it was some sort of parental court, was like some sort of Judge Judy type of thing. And the man is saying that's his kid. The woman is saying that's not his kid. He showed up for everything. He travels across state lines. He's, does everything for this kid. To him, it is his child through and through. And then it turns out, despite all the things he's been doing, child support, all these things, it turns out in this paternity court, he's not the father. And the woman is so sabotaged or so has this tunnel vision or so set on being right that the judge has to calm down to her and say, what are you so happy about? Your child is right now fatherless. This person wanted to be your husband or wanted to be your child's father, and he was doing all these things for him, and now you're not going to get that anymore because this is no longer his child, or it never was. And she had to kind of put the woman in check and say, what are you so happy about? Does being right basically mean that much to you? That's what I'm asking to about Cardinals fans. This is why whenever I've said the Kyler Murray era in Arizona is over and that sucks, I've been calling for it to be over for a while now, but I want Cardinal fans to understand, and media, what they just asked for. They have asked for the quarterback carousel, which can be a long ride that sometimes doesn't have an off button on it for a very long time. This means you don't have any certainty in the future of what your quarterback's going to look like. This is not as simple as drafting a quarterback, plugging him in, and it definitely working. Do you remember how long it took to find Kyler Murray post Carson Palmer? Do you remember how long it took to find Carson Palmer post Kurt Warner? Nearly 4 years each time of John Skelton, Max Hall, Ryan Lindley, Kevin Cobb. On the way to Kyler, you had Josh Rosen and Sam Bradford. It was a long and windy road. I'm not telling you you aren't right, because I also believe the Kyler Murray in Arizona is over, and it should be over. This did not work out. But what you have to understand, what we have signed up for, is quarterback instability and uncertainty. Maybe you find your franchise guy in the first fail swoop next season. Maybe. Could be in the draft, could be in free agency, and it's never been easier to do so. Not saying it is easy, saying that it has never been easy to do so. Those are not the same thing. It is truly terrible that Kyler Murray did not work out in Arizona. Because now you have to go into the draft looking for your quarterback. Now you have to go in through free agency and pray you can hit a home run in finding a Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield resurrection project. Again, I'm not telling you you are wrong about wanting the Kyler Murray era to be over. But celebrating it like that woman I was talking about in paternity court who was so paralyzed by being right, lost track of what actually you have signed up for. And that is potentially quarterback purgatory or really bad quarterback play for the next couple of seasons. Now, I get it. You wanted off the Kyler Murray ride, and I'm right there with you. But there's a reason why, and again, I don't hate these people. I'm just pointing it out. There's a reason why I didn't go full, like Chuck Harris on social media. I told you guys I was right. Do you know what you just signed up for? Do you know what you just signed up for? It's why I almost immediately put out on social media that now that the war is over, it truly stinks that the Kyler Murray era in Arizona is over. And it sucks that it didn't work out. Because had Kyler Murray worked out, I would have made more money. I would have had more people watching the show. The exposure of all this would be that much easier. It'd be fun to watch the team. We'd all get along better. Like when people tried to tell me, oh, you just hated Kyler. No, I was being honest. And I wanted Kyler to work out. I don't want to go back into the Ty Simpson, Garrett Nussmeier, potentially Sam Levitt quarterbacking. Like that is going to be difficult. I mean, look at Bears potentially. They drafted Caleb Williams. Yeah, they're 5-3, but sometimes Caleb is really erratic, and they drafted the wrong quarterback. Jaden Daniels is better. Drake May is better. Like, just because you even have the number 1 pick doesn't mean it's just going to immediately work out. Look at the Panthers. Look at the Texans, maybe. So, I get it. You wanted it to be over. All I'm saying is, you close door number 1. Door number 2 isn't promising that the Cardinals are definitely going to figure it out immediately. I agree with you that it was time. I agree with you they should have moved on. I'm just warning you of what the next couple years could look like. Because this is not an easy, quick fix. It could be a quick fix, but it will never be easy. And history tells me with the Arizona Cardinals, post Kurt Warner, all before Kurt Warner, but post Kurt Warner, post Carson Palmer, it could take a few years to find the right guy. And although Kyler is inconsistent, he was still better than John Skelton and Max Hall and, Matt Leinart and Kevin Cobb and Ryan Lindley and, Drew Stanton, who was a solid backup but was asked to spot start a lot. It's not an easy fix. So I'm just warning you. This is what we collectively wanted, and it's the right thing to want, but it could take a while. It could take a while. And so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. With that being said, guys, reminder, I don't look at the chat a ton because so focused on getting the takeoff. I'll take all your guys' questions at the end of the show. Just a reminder. So I see some of you guys. I'll make sure to get to those. Let's go. Let's talk about this game on Sunday. I think this is the spot where Kyler Murray, people call them stans. I'll try to find a nicer way to call them because I'm not interested in calling people names. Supporters. This is where I think the Kyler Murray fans, or stans, if you will, are going to come out and feast on Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals as a whole. The Seattle Seahawks defense is fierce. It isn't the Legion of Boom, but holy hell, do they play fast? Do they play fierce? And do they play with a real tenacity and an edge? This is going to be a very tough game. This, I think, is going to be a tougher game than the Colts, Packers, and easily Cowboys. Sam Darnold is the real freaking deal. Now, here's the good thing. The Cardinals defense, well, I guess let me back up. Sam Darnold is a real freaking deal. Jackson Smith and Jigba is a wide receiver 1 to all accounts. The running back position, they've got guys in Charbonnet and Walker, and the offensive line is pretty viable now. This Seattle Seahawks team, led by a head coach who is a wizard defensively, this is going to be a very tough match for the Cardinals. Now, it's a divisional game, and the Cardinals' defense is really good. They held Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba to a pretty modest game on the Thursday Night Football game back in Week 4. What I will say is, I do think this is the game where all the Kyler Murray fans and the anti-Jacoby Brissetters come out and feast on this Cardinals team decision to sit Kyler Murray and play Jacoby Brissett. They won't look at Kyler Murray being 0-8 against the Seattle Seahawks and, being largely a losing quarterback. That's just what it is, what the statistics say. They're just going to look at this game. And I think some other fans might do the same thing. I'm not going to give the Cardinals much of a chance to go into Seattle and win this game. Let's be real. Seattle's offense is really, really good. Their defense might be even better. And going to CenturyLink Field, a notoriously loud environment, when their team is good, they are rocking on all cylinders. That is just going to be a hard win to get. But if the Cardinals do win, everything is back open to them. Everything. 4-5 through 10 weeks can be rectified, can be resurrected. You can get into the playoffs at 4-5, and then we can talk a little bit more. Well, Niners coming up. Can you beat the Rams? Bucks are banged up. Bengals don't have Joe Burrow. Falcons are terrible. You can talk yourself into, okay, this is interesting. And if they win this game, really sign, seal, deliver on the Kyler Murray thing and any argument against it. This would be a signature win for Jonathan Gannon. This would be a culture win for Jonathan Gannon, especially for how the season has gone. But because the defense of Seattle is so tenacious, and because their offense is humming on all cylinders, what Sam Darnold has done over the past couple of weeks is crazy. It's just going to be hard for me to pick them to win this game. And to be honest with you, at some point, Jacoby Brissett is not going to be this level of Jacoby Brissett. I'm not saying he's terrible at all. He's one of the best backups in the league. And I think can be a middle-of-the-road quarterback in structure. But all your flaws are going to get magnified by a Seahawks defense and head coach that plays with an edge, a chip on their shoulders, and has got a lot of great players everywhere. That is just going to be hard to overcome. So, I'm willing to be wrong on this, but I think this is the game where maybe Jacoby Brissett reverts back to the mean a little bit, which is not bad, but just what he normally is. I don't think he's the 700 yards over 3 games and 7 touchdowns to 1 interception quarterback. I hope he proves me wrong, but that's just not what we've seen over Jacoby Brissett's career. It's been a lifelong backup and a lifelong backup for a reason. So if they win this game, come on. You are talking about playoffs potentially after this. But this is a hard game to win. On the road against the Seahawks team that is going to bring the house against a Cardinals offensive line that is just abysmal. And I don't question Jacoby Brissett's toughness, but if you're getting sacked 6 times a game, that's just hard to overcome. So I'll take Seattle to win. And a lot of the Kyler Murray fans and anti-Cardinal guys to really come after this team for a game that I think could get ugly for benching Kyler Murray in favor of Jacoby Brissett. Okay, here's the other thing. Phoenix Suns played last night. I was at the game. If you want to get my instant post-game reaction, you can go do that over at Locked On Phoenix Suns. But I've just got more things to say about Jalen Green. This is I'm not going to say I was wrong about Jalen Green. It's one game. I've had a lot of people come after me and you remember what you said about Jalen? Yeah, I didn't forget. And I'm not going to stray away from it. Jalen Green throughout his entire career has been a bit of an inefficient and inconsistent player. No one has ever doubted the talent. And when he gets rolling, holy cow, he can pin his ears back and really make life difficult on an opposing team. And if this is the Jalen Green you're going to get, would love to be wrong on this. But also I will say, after being excited about the game last night, pump the brakes just a little. I don't know if this is the Jalen Green that you're going to get for what is left in the season, 68 plus games. However, that's the thing. Again, I'll be like, everyone just be careful. He can be a little inefficient. Check the comments last night from Rockets fans under the NBA post from the Suns winning. Check it, and people were overwhelmingly saying, yeah, tomorrow he's going to score 4 points. Now, I'm not rooting for that. I don't care about being right. I care about getting it right, not being right. We'll see on the Jalen Green thing, TBD. But I thought you saw a lot of Jalen Green. Like, I thought you saw a lot of the Jalen Green experience kind of rolled up into one. Jalen Green at the beginning of this game, and I chalked this up last night to him being someone who was just excited to be back into the fold. Someone who was stoked to be in the game, meaning he has been gone for months. He showed up late to the season. He's just got this Energizer Bunny mentality, and he had a little bit of some questionable shot selections to start this game. But then this is where the transformation came in, where I was like, maybe I was wrong about this guy. Maybe he's been in the film room. Maybe Booker brought him to the side and said, hey, man, be careful what you're doing offensively. You don't have to feel like you have to do anything anymore. And Jalen Green was freaking awesome last night. Like, I know a little bit of a warning to Suns fans, crowning this Jalen Green achievement. Sure, for the first minute. But like that, you can't take away from how awesome he was last night. 50% from the field, 46% from three, hitting, off the dribble three-point jumpers, catch and shoot three-point jumpers, finding guys open for really nice assists, getting to the line, adding pressure to the rim. He was doing it all last night. Truly, he was doing it all. And if that's the version of Jalen Green or some version of Jalen Green that you're going to get for the next 65 plus games, the Suns are going to be a playoff team. Forget a play-in team. They're going to be a playoff team. But because I think that Jalen Green is not what we all expected, I think there's a world where he can be a 20-plus point player and shoot, 50-ish% from the field and low 40s, high 30s from three. We just have to watch some of the shot selection ability. If he does this to the B+ degree last night, B- degree last night, the Suns are going to be a play-in team. And the biggest thing I saw from Green last night, the biggest thing at being at the game was, this is what it looks like when you get to stagger the minutes. Devin Booker oftentimes will go out in these games, and the Suns have legitimately no shot creating, no playmaking on the field. I'm sorry, no playmaking on the court. And they've got to throw out Colin Gillespie and Dylan Brooks. And it's just a hodgepodge of talent and guys who can't shoot the ball, like Oso and Nigel Hayes and Jordan Goodwin. And how many times have I said, whether on Locked On Suns or on here, God, Jordan Ott's rotations are just something left to be desired. But last night, you saw Jordan Goodwin and Oso Agudaro on the court at the same time. But you also saw Devin Booker on the court with them. And that's where Jalen Green was most needed. Because now you can stagger those minutes, meaning you'll start both players, but when Devin Booker is off the court, you can stick Jalen Green on the court. And the minutes where you don't have either guy on the court are so limited, and you can live with that. But when you put Jalen Green on the court with a couple of bad shot makers, but his ability to have the defense hone in on him, be decisive with the basketball and kind of get hot from three-point land, that changes everything for this team offensively. Everything for this team offensively. They need Jalen Green to be all the good things that you saw about him in Houston and none of the bad things. And I think the way he does that is scale back the amount of shots he takes a game behind the arc. Last night, it was perfectly fine because he shot 46% from three. You will take that every single time. And the Suns have one guy that can get hot, Devin Booker. We've talked about this. One guy. When Jalen Green gets hot and the defense has to rotate over his way, they've got to throw doubles at him. They can't just let him beat them because he's going nuclear from an ISO perspective. They got to roll over double teams. That's going to open up everything for Devin Booker offensively. And if Booker starts to see more one-on-ones, for those of you that don't know, he was the most pressured, blitzed, and double-teamed player in the NBA up until when Jalen Green showed up. If those numbers and percentages come down for Booker, seeing the amount of double teams he's going to see, his efficiency and numbers are just going to be up. It's the same thing with the Kyler Murray thing. I don't care that Jalen Green could have some worries about an inefficient player. It's not what I'm rooting for. I want him to be elite. And if he plays like he does last night, the Suns are going to be well off, and they will have won the Kevin Durant trade. They've got to get, but if this happens, it's going to open up not just everything for Jalen Green, but Devin Booker as well. And if the offense can be the beneficiary of that, and those guys are both hitting jumpers, what is that going to do for Grayson Allen and Dillon Brooks and Royce O'Neal when they all get healthy? Ryan Dunn even too. Open shots from three-point land. Open shots. And you need that. Because those guys have a gravitational pull offensively that sometimes when they get going, the opposing offense is just going to send 5 guys at them and say, you can't beat us. And that's what's going to open up the world for Colin Gillespie, for Dillon Brooks, for why am I blanking? Ryan Dunn. It's going to open up the world for all those guys. Royce O'Neal, Grayson Allen. And if that happens, you're going to feel really good about things. The other thing I'll say is, I mentioned this last night. I can't believe how much Suns fans hate Bradley Beal. I'm not going to no problems with it. He poked at the ribs at Suns fans. He poked the bear. He never lived up to his contract. But holy cow, do Suns fans dislike Bradley Beal. Every time that dude touched the ball last night, rained down of boos. When he was introduced last night, just a rain down of boos. Holy cow, do you guys dislike Bradley Beal? And here's my one take from the Bradley Beal thing that I will say is he just the epitome of a good stats, bad player? I'm sorry, is he just the epitome of good stats, bad team player? Because in the Wizards, he was an all-NBA player, but the second he went to teams with aspirations in the Suns and the Clippers, he's been awful. And so, wild. Zach in the chat, how could you not hate Bradley Beal? I just don't care enough about Bradley Beal to hate him. You know, it's like when people are like, why you should hate Kyler Murray. Why would you like? I'm like, I don't hate Kyler Murray enough I don't dislike anyone enough to hate them. It's a waste of my energy. But I'm just surprised how much you guys didn't like him. Hilarious. Wild times. Same with the Oso Ighodaro stuff really quickly. What does he do well? I keep mentioning this. What did he do well? He's still getting minutes. And I don't want to harp on this for super long. But the Oso Ighodaro thing, that's just got to be over. You got to be able to find guys like Kamal Malawach and Rasheer Fleming minutes if you're going to find it for Oso Ighodaro. With that being said, guys, I want to go through some of you guys' comments, questions, concerns, and then we'll call it a day. Solid delay of game penalty. No delay of game. Oh, and again, reminder, guys, show is moving to 8 a.m. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting next week. Show's moving to 8 a.m. My life is moving around. And honestly, that's awesome because I want to sleep more. Starting over. Yep, sucks. If you guys had any questions, I'll answer them right now. Dude, I'd rather be a loser team because of quarterback carousel rather than a losing quarterback. It's fine. No issues with that, Van Heath. I'm just saying, know what you signed up for. That's all. Do we want the Cardinals to tank to draft a quarterback? Yes. 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 They're not making the playoffs. I've said that for a couple weeks now. It's just too hard to overcome. Yeah, I'm like the team's not going to tank. You're asking me what I want. They're not going to do that. But I would like to see that. Anyone have anything else? It doesn't look like that. Doesn't look like anything else. So with that being said, my guy DEJ Recon made it to my first live Friday show. Thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you. With that being said, guys, don't got any other questions today, so we can end it here. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Interact with me on social media. You guys keep doing that in numbers, and it's freaking awesome. I love interacting with you guys. Send me a message. DM me. Let's chat. Come say what's up to me. I met someone else at the game last night who said they watched the shows. That was really cool. So follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Have a heck of a Friday. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the stream before you leave. And I'll talk to you guys